In terms of the profit, 2,960 odd crores. The expectation was 2,921. So it seems pretty much in line in terms of the profit number. Let's quickly just look at the revenue number as well. The expectation was around 30,837 crores. The number has come in at 30,964 crores. And these are standalone numbers that we are watching out for in terms of where M&M goes. The profit number above the estimate by around 40 crores odd, so you can call it somewhere in line. But I'll wait for Puneet to join us and let us know as to what he was expecting versus what has come in. In terms of the revenue, 3837 was the expectation. 3964 is where that number has come in at come as well. The key things that you were watching out for in terms of the clear margin number was an expansion of around 160 basis points at 14.4%. But let's see what that margin number calculation comes up to be. And the expected EBITDA was around 4,451 odd crores. There is a slight bit of a slip that's happening in terms of the stock price, a correction there, pretty much flat now. It's going to be interesting to see if it slips into the negative, because all eyes have been on this one. If you talk about the PV sales in the third quarter, they were up around 19%. Farm equipment sales were up around 19% as well. And the key highlight and the commentary that the street will be watching out for will be, and what happened in this quarter was the launch of the BE6 and the XEV9. And the highest volume growth is what they had seen in the industry as well. But overall, in terms of the key number, 30,964 is what we're picking up. The EBITDA has come in at 4,810 crores, which is also above street expectations of around 4,459 crores. So in terms of the top line, a marginal beat on that front. Bottom line as well, a good number that we are picking up so far. Profit of 2,964 is the number versus an expectation of 2,921. And if you see in terms of the volumes, the highest volume growth is what M&M has seen as well during the quarter. 4,810 is what we are watching out for in terms of the EBITDA as well versus the estimate. Margins have come in at 15.5%. The expectation was 14.4. So again, that number is above what the street was estimating. Let's just quickly pull up the stock. It's now up around 0.7 to 0.8%. So after that sharp dip, but it still doesn't seem to have come up, because 3198 was the day's high on a M&M currently, and then the low was 3119. We are close to 3,152, 160. Slight up move that could come in as well. In terms of the key things that we should be watching out for was the order bookings for EVs and demand outlook for tractors. So that commentary will be interesting to watch out for from the management presser as well. And Nuvama had indicated a robust revenue growth, which was mainly supported by the increase in volumes, and the realizations were also expected to be better this time around. So any number in terms of the realization from the press conference will be watched out for. And the margins in the tractor segment is what is supporting as well this time around. So that's the overall number that you are watching out for in terms of where M&M goes. The numbers are above the street estimates, at least in terms of the net profit and the revenue is in line, and that's the stance coming in from Puneet, who's tracking the auto space pretty closely. But overall, if you see PV sales up 3% in the quarter, have been up around 19%. Farm equipment sales have also grown by around 19%. So profit revenue in line, and I think that's what the street is not really reacting to. Margins have seen a good surprise on the upside. 14.4% was what the street was estimating. It's come in a little above 15%. I think 15.5 is what we're tracking. Sorry, the EBITDA margin has now been corrected to 14.4. So that also is in line with what the street was estimating. So all three numbers in line, and that's the reason why you're seeing a pretty flattish move in terms of where M&M is concerned. In fact, my colleague Puneet will be joining us shortly. Puneet, the key numbers, what is your take? Because it seems across parameters, the numbers are in line with estimates.
Yes, Hiral, definitely. It's bang in line with estimates, and we had the sales figures already that we had discussed earlier on also while giving the preview. But these numbers have come in bang in line. So revenue coming in at roughly about 30,538 odd crores. That was versus estimates of about 30,837 crores. So very close in line. EBITDA margins have come in at 14.4%, and it was estimated to be exactly that same number. So that's another key positive. And the net profit has come in at 2,964 crores. Estimate was of 2,920 crores. So again, another key figure. And as you rightly said, all three numbers have come bang in line. The other one aspect is that the change in inventory number, while every quarter for an auto company it is variable and changing, that's coming at 1,332 crores in this particular quarter versus the same time last year it was 308 crores. So it has had an impact, but I think this was factored in into this particular quarter because there was a build up in terms of the finished good inventory as well as this thing for the company, because it has been growing at an exponential pace which has been outpacing the industry growth as well. So apart from that, I think that's one of the key numbers. And we mentioned the sales figures. So passenger cars in this particular quarter had grown by roughly about 19%, and they've come at roughly 1,42,000, while the farm equipment sales have also grown at a similar percentage of 18%, coming in at roughly 1,21,000. So overall, it is, the results are in line with all the numbers and the estimates that we have had. So it's a big beat. We should see the stock reacting positively at it. So we also have the media briefing today at 2:30 in the afternoon. So we'll see more comments, especially for the electric vehicle aspect, because they've announced the launch of the same and the bookings start from the 14th of Feb for both the BE6 as well as the XCV 9e. But overall, Hiral, it's a beat on most parameters. It's come in line with all the estimates at this particular quarter.